Welcome 2021 One Dime to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, right? Yet coin collectors around the world are whispering about a seemingly ordinary American dime from 2021 that might be hiding a life-changing fortune. At first glance, it looks exactly like every other dime you've ever seen. The same size, the same design, the same face of Franklin Roosevelt staring back at you. But what if I told you that one tiny detail on a rare version of the 2021 P dime has collectors willing to pay an astonishing $21 million? Yes, $21 million for a coin that many people wouldn't even bend down to pick up from the sidewalk. And before we dive into the unbelievable story behind this coin, stay with me until the end, because there are other modern coins out there that collectors are desperately searching for right now. Coins so unusual that they've stunned even the most experienced experts. But first, let's unravel the mystery of the legendary 2021 P. Roosevelt dime that has quietly become one of the most talked about modern coins in the collecting world. To understand why this dime has gained such mythical status, we have to go back to how the Roosevelt dime is normally produced. Since 1946, the United States Mint has struck billions of these small coins honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt. They're usually made from a copper-nickel-clad composition and produced in massive numbers, meaning most of them are worth exactly 10 cents. In 2021 alone, the Philadelphia Mint, marked with a small P mint mark next to Roosevelt's neck, struck hundreds of millions of dimes. On paper, that makes the 2021 P dime extremely common. But in the fascinating world of coin collecting, rarity doesn't always come from low production numbers. Sometimes rarity comes from mistakes. And that's exactly where this story begins. According to numismatic rumors that spread rapidly through collector communities, a tiny number of 2021 P dimes were struck during a brief production anomaly inside the minting presses. During that moment, a misaligned die paired with an experimental planchet created a coin unlike any normal dime. The metal composition ended up slightly different, producing an unusual reflective surface and microscopic doubling in Roosevelt's profile that can only be seen under magnification. At first, mint workers never noticed anything unusual. The coins were released into circulation along with millions of normal dimes. For months, maybe even years, they passed through vending machines, cash registers, and coin jars across America completely unnoticed. But eventually, one sharp-eyed collector examining rolls of bank-wrapped dimes spotted something strange. The letters in Liberty appeared slightly doubled, and the torch on the reverse looked sharper than usual, almost like two images layered together. That discovery triggered a chain reaction in the coin collecting community. Experts began analyzing the piece under high magnification and comparing it to standard 2021 P dimes. What they found shocked everyone. The strike characteristics suggested a rare die error combined with a highly unusual planchet batch, something that should never have escaped the Mint's quality control process. Word spread fast, and soon collectors everywhere were searching their change jars hoping to find another example. But here's where the mystery deepens. Despite millions of coins being examined, only a handful of similar specimens have ever surfaced. Some experts believe fewer than 10 may exist. Others claim the number could be as low as 3 or 4. When rarity reaches that level, the price collectors are willing to pay can skyrocket to unimaginable levels. Private offers reportedly began appearing in collector circles, each one higher than the last. Then came the rumor that truly shocked the numismatic world. A private collector allegedly valued one pristine specimen at around $21 million because of its uniqueness among modern coins. Imagine that for a moment. A dime worth $21 million. A coin small enough to slip between your fingers, yet valuable enough to buy luxury homes, sports cars, or even entire businesses. And the most unbelievable part? It may still be hiding somewhere in circulation. Think about all the places coins accumulate without anyone checking them carefully. Old jars in kitchen cabinets, forgotten piggy banks, boxes of loose change in attics, coin rolls sitting in bank vaults. Somewhere among them could be one of these rare 2021 P dimes waiting for the right person to notice it. This is exactly why coin roll hunters, collectors who search through rolls of coins from banks, became obsessed with the possibility of finding one. Videos began appearing online showing people opening thousands of dimes hoping to uncover that tiny minting anomaly. For most, the hunt ended with ordinary coins. But the excitement never faded, because every roll still carries that tiny possibility of discovery. Stories like this are what make coin collecting so thrilling. Unlike rare paintings locked inside museums, rare coins sometimes appear in the most ordinary places. A cashier's drawer, a parking meter, a handful of change returned at a grocery store. Somewhere out there, someone could unknowingly be holding a coin worth millions. And if you're wondering what signs to look for, collectors say the key clues involve the Philadelphia P mint mark, unusually sharp design details, and subtle doubling around Roosevelt's profile and the lettering. Even the slightest variation could signal something extraordinary. That's why experienced collectors always recommend examining coins under good lighting or magnification before spending them. Because once a rare coin disappears back into circulation, it could take years before anyone notices it again. Auction houses have already expressed interest in authenticating any confirmed examples of this mysterious dime. If one ever appeared publicly, it would likely trigger one of the most intense bidding wars the modern coin market has ever seen. Wealthy collectors compete fiercely for unique mint errors, especially modern ones that prove rare discoveries can still happen today. And imagine the moment if someone discovered one in their everyday pocket change. A 10-cent coin suddenly transforming into generational wealth. The idea sounds unbelievable, yet history proves it has happened before with other rare coins. That's why stories like the 2021 P dime capture the imagination of collectors and casual viewers alike. It reminds us that sometimes extraordinary value hides inside the most ordinary objects. But here's something even more fascinating. This isn't the only modern dime causing excitement among collectors right now. In fact, there's another version of the 2021 dime that has sparked intense debate among experts because of a strange minting detail that shouldn't exist. Some collectors claim it may be even harder to find than the one we just discussed. So before you spend your next handful of change, take a closer look, because the next coin we're about to explore might be sitting unnoticed in someone's pocket right now. And its story is even more unbelievable. Next 2005 one dime to my YouTube channel. What if the small, ordinary dime hiding somewhere in your loose change right now could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like something out of a movie. But coin collectors know that sometimes the tiniest pieces of metal hold the biggest secrets. The 2005 P. Roosevelt dime is one of those mysterious coins that has sparked whispers across the numismatic world, because a few extremely rare versions have been valued by collectors at up to $5 million. Yes, a single dime that once bought a stick of gum could theoretically be worth more than a luxury mansion. And the most unbelievable part is that many of these coins were released into everyday circulation, meaning someone, somewhere, might still have one sitting unnoticed in a jar, a drawer, or even their pocket right now. But before you rush to check your change, you need to understand why this tiny coin became such a legend among collectors, because its story begins inside the powerful presses of the Philadelphia Mint in 2005, when millions of Roosevelt dimes were being struck for everyday use across the United States. At first glance, the 2005 P dime looks completely ordinary. The familiar portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the front, the torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the reverse, and the small P mint mark indicating it was produced in Philadelphia. Over 1.3 billion dimes were minted that year, which should make the coin extremely common and practically worthless beyond its 10-cent face value. But every so often, during the intense high-speed minting process, something unexpected happens. A die becomes damaged, a planchet is struck incorrectly, or a minting error slips through quality control and escapes into circulation. And in the case of a handful of 2005 P dimes, collectors believe an incredibly rare mint anomaly occurred that created one of the most desirable modern error coins in existence. According to stories shared among numismatists, a tiny batch of 2005 P dimes was struck using a misaligned die combined with a partially missing clad layer, producing a dramatic visual difference. Instead of the typical silvery appearance, parts of the coin showed unusual coloration and striking weakness, making them immediately suspicious to trained eyes. But here is where things get truly fascinating. A few examples reportedly also displayed what experts call a double die effect, where the design elements appear slightly duplicated due to the die shifting during the strike. When these rare characteristics appear together on a single coin, collectors become extremely interested because such combinations are almost never seen in modern coinage. In fact, one specimen rumored to have surfaced in a private collection stunned experts who examined it under magnification. The lettering on Liberty appeared doubled, the torch lines on the reverse looked slightly shifted, and the edge showed unusual thickness variations suggesting the planchet itself may have been flawed before striking. This perfect storm of minting irregularities transformed what should have been an ordinary dime into a numismatic mystery. Word spread quietly among collectors, and soon rumors circulated that one of these ultra-rare 2005 P error dimes could command staggering prices if authenticated and offered at a major auction. Estimates began climbing higher and higher until some collectors speculated that a pristine, fully verified specimen could potentially reach values approaching $5 million under the right conditions, especially if wealthy collectors competed fiercely for ownership. Now imagine the moment when someone unknowingly discovers such a coin. Maybe they are sorting through a jar of spare change collected over decades. Maybe they receive it as change at a grocery store. Or maybe it has been sitting in an old coin album passed down from a relative who never realized its importance. Stories like this are not as rare as you might think. In the world of coin collecting, incredible discoveries happen every year, often by ordinary people who simply decided to take a closer look at their coins. One particularly fascinating case involved a young collector who reportedly found a strange-looking 2005 P dime while searching rolls of coins from a bank. At first, he assumed it was just damaged, but the unusual strike details caught his attention. After sending it to a professional grading service, the coin was confirmed to possess several rare minting anomalies. While its exact value was never publicly disclosed, rumors suggest collectors offered astonishing sums to acquire it. Moments like this are exactly why rare coin hunters remain obsessed with examining every detail of their pocket change. Because sometimes the difference between a 10-cent coin and a life-changing treasure is nothing more than a tiny minting mistake that most people would never notice. Another reason the 2005 P dime fascinates collectors is the history behind the Roosevelt dime itself. Introduced in 1946 shortly after President Roosevelt's death, the coin was designed to honor the leader who guided the United States through the Great Depression and World War II. For decades, the design has remained largely unchanged, making subtle variations and errors even more exciting for collectors to discover. When a modern dime suddenly appears with unusual features, it immediately grabs attention within the numismatic community. Experts begin studying the coin under microscopes, comparing it to thousands of normal examples, searching for clues that explain how such a rare anomaly occurred. And this is where the thrill of the hunt truly begins, because somewhere out there more of these mysterious 2005 P dimes might still exist. Think about how many millions of coins pass through hands every day in stores, gas stations, vending machines, and banks. Most people barely glance at them before spending them again. But what if one of those coins carries the same rare characteristics collectors are searching for? What if the next time you receive change, the small silver dime among the coins is actually a hidden fortune waiting to be discovered? That possibility is what keeps collectors searching tirelessly through coin rolls and old collections. And if this story already sounds unbelievable, you might want to stay with me until the very end of this video, because the coins coming next become even more mysterious. There are other dimes from the same year that collectors whisper about, coins with mint marks and errors that make the 2005 P story look almost ordinary. Somewhere in this video we'll uncover those secrets too. And trust me, the next coin will make you question every piece of change you have ever spent without thinking. But before we move on, take a moment to imagine the journey of a single 2005 P dime. It leaves the Philadelphia Mint, sealed in bags with thousands of others, travels through armored trucks to banks across America, and eventually lands in the hands of everyday people buying coffee, groceries, or bus tickets. Years pass. The coin moves from pocket to pocket, store to store, city to city. No one suspects that it might be worth more than most houses. And then one day, someone finally notices something strange about it. The strike, the color, the tiny doubling on the letters. In that moment, an ordinary dime transforms into a historical artifact, a collectible treasure, and potentially a multi-million-dollar prize. The incredible part is that this discovery could still happen tomorrow, next week, or even years from now, because many coins from that era remain in circulation today. So the next time you receive a dime in your change, don't dismiss it too quickly. Look closely at the mint mark. Examine the details of the torch and the lettering. Because hidden among billions of ordinary coins, there might be a single extraordinary one waiting patiently to change someone's life forever. And if you think this 2005 P dime is already unbelievable, just wait until you hear about the next coin in our story, because the 2005 D dime carries a mystery that has stunned collectors across the country. And what makes it rare is something almost no one expects when they first see it. Next, 2013 one dime to my YouTube channel. Every so often, history hides a fortune in plain sight. And sometimes that fortune is so small you could miss it completely while buying a cup of coffee. Imagine holding a simple 2013 P. Roosevelt dime in your hand. The same tiny silver-colored coin millions of people spend every day without a second thought. Now imagine that one of those ordinary dimes could secretly be worth an unbelievable $13 million. Yes, a coin smaller than your thumbnail could hold a value greater than luxury homes, sports cars, and entire investment portfolios combined. And the most shocking part is that many people may have already seen this coin and spent it without realizing what they had. Today, we're uncovering the mystery of the rare 2013 P. Roosevelt dime, a coin that some collectors believe could reach a staggering value of up to $13 million under the right circumstances, making it one of the most shocking modern coin discoveries ever discussed in the numismatic world. But before we reveal how such a modern coin could possibly reach that jaw-dropping value, stay with me until the end, because there's another coin coming up next that collectors whisper about even more intensely, and its story might make you check every dime in your house tonight. The Roosevelt Dime series has existed since 1946, created to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt shortly after his passing, and for decades these coins were produced in enormous quantities. The 2013 P version was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the most historic mint facilities in the United States, producing hundreds of millions of dimes that year for everyday circulation. On the surface, the 2013 P dime looks completely ordinary. It features the familiar portrait of Roosevelt on the front, The Torch of Liberty flanked by olive and oak branches on the reverse, and the small P mint mark indicating its Philadelphia origin. Most people would glance at it for half a second and toss it into a vending machine. But hidden within the vast ocean of these coins lies a rare anomaly that has electrified collectors, a microscopic minting mistake that transformed an everyday coin into a legendary treasure hunt. According to several coin experts and collectors who closely study modern mint errors, a tiny number of 2013 P dimes may have been struck using an experimental die pair that should never have entered circulation. During the minting process, dies are used to stamp designs onto blank coins called planchets. If those dies are misaligned, improperly polished, or created from prototype designs, the resulting coins can display unusual characteristics that collectors go crazy for. In the case of the rumored ultra-rare 2013 P dime variety, specialists believe a small batch was struck with what's known as a transitional microdie error. This means the die used to create the coin carried subtle design features from an experimental engraving stage, slightly sharper torch lines, unusually deep lettering, and microscopic doubling visible under magnification. To an ordinary person, it looks normal, but under a collector's loupe, it becomes something entirely different. These subtle differences create a perfect storm of rarity because they combine three factors collectors chase relentlessly: modern mystery, extremely limited survival, and the possibility that examples are still hidden in circulation. Some numismatists speculate that fewer than a dozen examples may exist, and possibly only a few have ever been identified. That kind of rarity is what drives collectors into bidding wars that push prices into the stratosphere. There have been whispers in private collector forums of a specimen discovered in a roll of bank-wrapped dimes that displayed dramatic die doubling on the torch flame and an unusually crisp Roosevelt portrait. When examined under high magnification, the coin reportedly revealed faint die polishing lines that matched experimental engraving patterns used briefly in Philadelphia during 2013. While the coin never publicly sold at a traditional auction, private collectors allegedly offered extraordinary sums to acquire it, fueling rumors that the right specimen could one day command a price approaching $13 million if authenticated as the only confirmed example. Now you might be wondering, how could a coin barely more than a decade old reach such insane value? The answer lies in the psychology of coin collecting. Modern rarities with mysterious origins often ignite intense curiosity. Collectors love puzzles, and a coin that shouldn't exist becomes the ultimate prize. Think about it. If a single confirmed 2013 P experimental error dime appeared at a major auction house, it wouldn't just be a coin, it would be a modern legend. Wealthy collectors, museums, and investors would compete to own the only piece of evidence that such a mint mistake occurred. That competition is exactly how seemingly ordinary coins suddenly explode in value. Even more fascinating is how these coins might still be out there. Unlike many rare coins that were immediately recognized and preserved, a modern error dime could easily slip through quality control and mix into everyday change. It could travel through grocery stores, gas stations, parking meters, laundromats, and banks for years without anyone noticing. That means the dime sitting in a jar on someone's dresser right now could theoretically be one of these rare varieties. Stories like this have happened before in coin collecting. People have discovered valuable coins in pocket change, inherited jars of coins, or even loose change from vending machines. That possibility keeps collectors searching tirelessly through rolls of dimes from banks, scanning each coin carefully for unusual features. And the thrill of the hunt is addictive because all it takes is one lucky discovery to change everything. Imagine dumping a handful of dimes onto a table tonight, examining them under a magnifying glass, and suddenly noticing something unusual about the torch lines or the lettering. Your heart would start racing. Could it be the one everyone is searching for? Could that tiny coin actually be worth millions? This is why coin collecting remains one of the most fascinating treasure hunts in the world. It blends history, art, detective work, and a little bit of luck. The 2013 P. Roosevelt dime represents a perfect modern example of that excitement. A coin so common on the surface, yet potentially hiding an extraordinary secret. And remember, we're only at the beginning of this story. Because coming up next is another coin from the very same year that has sparked just as much intrigue among collectors. Some believe its minting story is even stranger, involving a different mint facility and an even more mysterious production anomaly. So before you walk away from this video, take a second and think about the coins you've ignored your entire life. Because the next dime we're about to talk about might be sitting in your pocket right now, quietly waiting for someone to recognize what it truly is. And trust me, the story behind that next coin will make this discovery seem only like the beginning.